Hi Soul Family, this is Mimi with Divination by Mimi, bringing to you the full moon in Aquarius partial eclipse on Monday, Monday, August the 7th. I must be thinking of the southern hemisphere. Monday, August the 7th, 2017. This is going to be an interesting eclipse, a very joyous one actually, very productive one. It is at 15 degrees Aquarius. And Aquarius, of course, is a very community-oriented, altruistic energy. And another wonderful aspect that's going to occur on Monday evening, right around 7:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is the moon will make a trine with Jupiter, and that's just lovely. So without going too much into the astrology, it is going to be a very impactful day. The first of two eclipses. Again, this is a partial lunar eclipse in Aquarius. So let's see what the energies have. Using the Thoth deck, this is going to be as quick as I can make it because I think I've been a little long-winded and I've gotten some feedback that it tends to be a bit of a downer. So I am going to try to not make it so long and get to the card reading a little bit faster. The Thoth deck. Still going to be doing the supernal triangle pull because it is general. So this is based upon the top three sephira of the Kabbalistic tree of life. This would be Keter, Chokmah, and Binah. In the Kemetic tree of life, this would be Amenasur, Tehuti, and Sekert. And it's going to be indicative of the superconscious, conscious, and subconscious mind. And this is basically us asking the question of God, source, or spirit, what do we need to know collectively as it relates to these energies, as it relates to this partial lunar eclipse, full moon in the sign of Aquarius. So what do we, collective human soul, well, the collective sentient soul, need to know from you, superconscious, from God consciousness? What advice, what wisdom can you provide for the full moon, partial lunar eclipse at 15 degrees Aquarius on August 7th with that lovely trine with Jupiter and the moon within the sign of Libra? Well, the moon obviously is in the sign of Aquarius, but Jupiter is in the sign of Libra, having to do with relationships, and then Jupiter brings that happy, joyous, expansive energy to it. You should be looking at very, very nice evening for coupling, being with and enjoying the company and energy of your friends and family, particularly on that day. That's Monday the 7th. And what wisdom do you have? Thank you. So we received the death card in reverse. That's in superconscious. Death is transformation, not physical death. Let's see what the conscious mind says. There's definitely change coming. On our mind, we're thinking of coupling love. This is the Two of Cups. Very often it has to do with coupling love. See, there's cups there. The water is flowing. This is Venus in Cancer, which actually Venus happens to be in Cancer at this time. It's a really lovely energy and card. So on our mind is harmony, home, family, things like that. Okay? And Spirit is indicating or advising us as it relates to transformation. Perhaps we're concerned about transformation, but let's get a little more clarity. What is the subconscious? What kind of symbols and messages does the subconscious want to share with us, the sentient collective? Here we go. And in this one, we got pleasure in reverse. This is the Six of Cups, which is pleasure, and that is in reverse. Oops, there we go. All right, so this is the sun in Scorpio. So the sun bringing that magnetic, fiery, positive energy to the sign of Scorpio. We got it in reverse. So on our minds, we are talking about, thinking about love, how we're relating to the other. Spirit is telling us that there might be a tendency for us to want to stay with the status quo. So with eclipses, partial or full, and there's another eclipse coming later in the month, there is change that comes regardless, whether we want it or not, whether we're hesitant to receive it or not. This is a major arcana card. So Spirit is telling you that us, that we may be worried about change. We may be uncertain. We may feel uneasy about the change. And I'll get some more clarification on that if it is what I think it's about. But there's no need to worry. Firstly, this is going to happen regardless. So it's something that is happening to all of us. Change is happening. Try not to be afraid. Coupling love and relationships, they're going to be there. In fact, the best thing to do is to turn to the other as we go through these changes to seek comfort, right? But try not to be upset or worried or scared about it, because everything happens in a flow in the way that it's supposed to. So there may be a tendency to feel fear as you see changes occur in your life. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Put out positive energy that things are happening as they should. And they are. They really are happening as they should. Subconscious is letting us know that kind of the way that we are thinking about the pleasures of physical life, the pleasures of the day-to-day, we might get a little bit too caught up in the physical pleasures. And there's nothing wrong with the physical pleasures at all. What I believe Spirit, through the subconscious, is warning us of is the lower octave of physical pleasures. So it's important not to become too caught up in stuff and things, in things that serve the ego only. Okay, so you have to feed the body, you have to feed the mind, and you have to feed the spirit. But Spirit is reminding us that we are really a spirit experiencing a physical existence, not the other way around. So try to look at things as these changes occur with a bird's eye view. Look at the bigger picture. Try to back up and don't think, okay, you know, how is this affecting my relationship with that guy or that gal at work that I like? More look at this from a larger perspective, as if, okay, how is this going to affect everyone I know and love? That kind of thing. Okay, so I think we're being asked to pull back a little bit and look at a larger picture. Let me get some clarification here on these two things, on death in reverse from superconscious and on pleasure in reverse from the subconscious. We know that we're into relating right now. We're into coupling. We're into not just romantic love, but just relating to the other, feeling comfortable at home, feeling the pleasures of home. And there might be a fear, not a fear of the outside world, but relying on that safety, of perceived safety too much, to the detriment of our wholeness. We're missing out on the experience of life in the bigger picture, in the macrocosm. But let's have a look. I think I'm going to get clarification with the runes. Actually, no. I'm being called to use the archetype cards. So these are the archetype cards. These are loosely based on Jungian archetypes. I'm seeking clarification on the superconscious message of the Death card, transformation in reverse, the Scorpio card, Hebrew letter Nun, fish, Quicksilver, water, underworld, ruled by Pluto and Mars, the serpent, the wisdom through death and transformation. What do we need to know? Particularly as the veil is pulled back at this time during the eclipses. Particularly during the lunar eclipse, where there's illumination on something that's normally in the dark. One more. All right. Superconscious, what do we mean by the death card in reverse and transformation in reverse, particularly in relation to what we're focusing on? What does this mean? Oh, thank you. We got the Knight card. So then we got it in the upright. Here's the Knight card. Okay, so the light attributes of the Knight card are loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. The shadow attributes are allegiance to destructive ruler or principle or romantic delusions. So I believe what this message compared to what we're thinking about, okay, we're thinking about seeking comfort in the relation of others, and Spirit is calling us to not avoid the transformation that's going to bring us to our knighthood, the gallant hero, heroine who comes in to save the day. Now, I'm not saying we have to go out there and start riding into crusades or anything like that. What this means is you taking on the most noble aspects of the self. And this really involves embracing your true self, which is spirit. So when I was talking earlier about taking a bird's eye view, looking at things that are happening, changes that are occurring from a bigger picture, this is what I'm talking about. It's looking beyond the ego, feeling beyond the ego with compassion for the other. And that makes sense with Aquarius. Aquarius is definitely about community and sharing with the other. Okay, and this trine with the moon and Jupiter in Libra, which is about justice, again, highlighting the other. And I think I believe because of the aspects right now, there's going to be a natural tendency to want to do that. So let that happen. Try not as pleasurable and comfortable it is as it is to stay at home and be with family and friends only. You're being called to a higher octave. You're being called to be your higher self. And this may mean, you know, stepping out and doing something that you're naturally called to do, but maybe for the sake of comfort, you haven't done it, or fear or concern or apathy. Okay, me, you, everybody. I'm not saying you, I'm saying all of us. Okay, so we're all being called to take on this higher self, and that's what the Knight's representing here. So still enjoy family, express those feelings with family, express the importance that you're feeling the pull to be your higher self to your family, and very likely they're feeling that pull as well. Now let's see what we mean over here. Spirit, what is this subconscious message of the Sun in Scorpio, the pleasure card, 6 of Cups in reverse? What's the message with that, please? We know we're not to, we know that we are to seek the higher altruistic road and not just hang back here with what we're comfortable with our friends and our homes and things like that, but we're actually supposed to take on that higher altruistic Aquarian role. So what do we mean here by this 6 of Cups in reverse? I just get I think I know what it is, just a little clarification. Thank you. 2. Another 2 archetype cards, positive archetype cards in the high octave. Again, we're being called to be to our higher self. Okay. The first one we got is Liberator. We got this in the upright. There's the card. The light attribute, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Boy, could that not be more true at this time. So again, that death card's much more clear now. Releasing the old ideas and avoiding, in other words, by just having fun all the time and putting our blinders on, we are avoiding essentially the change that needs to happen. And that really is calling us to be the highest self we can be, to call on that higher instinct that we have, where it's not always comfortable, it's not always convenient, but it is the thing that really ultimately we want to do. We do want to stop and pick that turtle up from the middle of the road and not sit there and drive by it and hope no one hits it. That kind of thing. It's just an example. So with these 2 cards, King in its high octave, Knight in its high octave, and Liberated in its high octave, we're sort of being told to not just look for our own physical and ego's longing for pleasure. The King light attribute is enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. So there's the card. Again, that came up right. So we take on the light attributes. And I believe we're being called. This change is happening regardless. It's asking us to take on our higher self, to do that thing, again, that may not be convenient, but that you know in your gut is the right thing. The thing where you go to put your head on the pillow that night and to close your eyes to fall asleep, you can smile and knowing, you know, I feel good about that. Okay? I think that's pretty clear. We're being called to, you know, don't not enjoy the love and comfort of others. Just don't steep yourself in the pleasure too much, and don't try to avoid this change because it's happening regardless. This is major arcana. Why not take the reins? See the knight on his horse? Take the reins and take that higher octave of you. Go with the higher mind and do what is the instinctual right thing to do. Don't relax into these pleasures of day-to-day things because we're not living in a day-to-day time now. Embrace your liberator, your inner revolutionary. Embrace your inner sovereign, good king, queen, empress, emperor. The high octave of you. All right, so this one was actually under 5 hours. That's good. I hope this helped, folks. It should be a lovely event on the 7th. So enjoy. It's in the afternoon. I believe it's, hold on. Actually, I might be wrong. Yeah, it is. It's at the full moon. The moon goes full at 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the eclipse occurs at 2:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's not something we'll see here in the States. Some parts of the rest of the world will see it, but it is something that we'll feel. Big changes. Oh, and by the way, Uranus has gone retrograde, so I think it will still be retrograde at the time of the full moon. Let me just double check that as well. 7th of August. 7th. Where are you, Uranus? Yeah, Uranus is still retrograde at the time of the full moon and is still retrograde at the time of the full solar eclipse as well. So being an unpredictable energy, these are big, impactful changes, unavoidable. They're going to happen. So take the high road. I'm taking the advice too. Do the right thing. Do what we feel is the right thing. All right, much love to you guys. I will see you at the solar eclipse, and ride these energies, enjoy, and take good care. Bye.